So let's consider a basic essay writing structure. And when I say essay writing, I mean most assignments you'll be doing have a structure which looks something like this. And I've divided this part into the sections of the writing and their function. The first section is an introductory section. Now, everything you write at university will carry with it a word count, and you're expected to write within plus or minus 10% of that word count. The introduction has around 5% of the word count. It has two functions. The first of which is to set the context of the paper, to position the essay for the reader. And the second is to state the thesis or the position, your position in relation to the topic. And it'll have some type of expression at the end of the introduction which says something like, this paper examines, this paper looks at, this paper proposes that. The second part is the body, or the main part is the body. It takes 90% of the word count. This is always divided into paragraphs. The paragraphs make up the sections, and the sections follow the structure proposed in your initial thesis in the introduction. So if you're saying this essay examines A, B, and C, that is the sectional order of your paper. Now, those sections will be divided into paragraphs. The final part of the paper will be your concluding section. Again, carries about 5% of the word count expectation. And in this part, you need to wrap up, briefly summarise what you've written about, and importantly, you will offer some type of conclusion about what the paper, what you've come to, what you now know. Don't just stop it at the summary. Going back to the idea of the word count, let's look at an example of a paper with 2,000 words. If we think about the 5% requirement for the introduction, we're looking at about 100 words. If I just distribute the rest of the words amongst these three sections, we might see it might look something like this. That first section being only 300 would imply that it's somewhat of a descriptive section, maybe with definitions of terms. So a tip. Where you have analytical sections, they are worth, or they carry more of the word count than descriptive sections. So parts which are describing what the topic is, it defines some key terms, those parts of the paper will be less substantive than the parts where you engage with the ideas, the analysis. Another tip at this stage, write your intro and your conclusion last. Write the body parts first, write the intro and conclusion parts last. They'll make more sense to you then. What you're trying to achieve is a sense of a narrative thread through the paper, which is gained by a logical sequence and a logical structure and paragraphs which seem to make sense following each other in the way that I've described.